I can't think. What am I supposed to What am I supposed to do? Yeah. I can't. What am I supposed to do?
Hey guys, YouTube, how you doing? Chris Rod. Hey, listen, today quick update about the Bermuda March lawn care. What should we be doing? Exactly what you just saw me doing. Getting out there and getting it done, just simply mowing, okay? I don't know about you guys, but here in West Texas, in El Paso, the westernmost city in the state of Texas, the low last night was 32 degrees, okay? So, what's happening? Everything that happens this time of the year, no matter where you're at, whether you're in Florida, Georgia, Carolinas, Texas, California, we are all going through some unusual weather patterns. It's crazy. It's like the stock market, I tell you what. It's up and down. It is a roller coaster, ain't it? It's fun. It really is, you know. What it does is it really keeps you on your toes on what applications you guys should be applying at this particular time of the year. So as you guys have been following along, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and always leave a comment below. As you guys have been following along, last week what we talked about are soil temperatures. And last week I told you in one of my videos that we had soil temperatures as high as 86 degrees. Today, they're 68 degrees. It's the exact opposite. Go figure, right? But no, really. What I'm trying to get across to you is that the weather patterns change. Monitor your soil temperatures. What can you be doing right now? You could be monitoring your soil temperatures, okay? What I'm looking for as far as lawn care and what I'm trying to coach you guys is just get out there, create a habitual practice of actual routine maintenance. Okay, so today is Sunday. I typically mow on a Saturday or Sunday, okay? I always like to keep it cut, give it a fresh look, especially if we're having some sort of function coming up. So one of the comments from one of our followers, or actually I don't even know if he follows the channel, but he does reach out to me every now and again, is in regards is, can you keep mowing your lawn, your Bermuda grass, on the lowest setting? Can you keep mowing it low? The ultimate answer is yes, you can mow as low as you want. However, once we get into that peak lawn care season and this stuff starts growing, this Bermuda grass starts really thriving, here in West Texas in the summertime, in July, August, September, we can really get 1 inch to 2 inches of growth per week. So sometimes it's a little difficult to mow as low as you can if you're mowing once a week. So what I encourage you guys to do is get out there and create a habit. Get in the routine, get in the habit of mowing based on your height of cut, on what you guys enjoy your lawn to look like. So for example, what I like to maintain at the beginning of the season is a good 1/2 inch of mowing height of cut for my Bermuda, my hybrid Bermuda. So I mow almost 2 or 3 times per week. I get out there, I leave the mower the same height, and I mow it, I mow it, I mow it. So the reason why I do that, especially at the beginning of the season, is what I'm looking for is to promote the lateral spread of the Bermuda stolons, which are the roots that grow on the soil surface. So it's the roots that you see. It's odd, but some people think they're actually like a weed, but it's actually what's called a stolon. It's a Bermuda stolon that grows, and it has a little grass node. It's a thicker part of the actual root, and that node tacks into the soil, sends a root down, and then sends a new grass blade up. And it does that every so few inches, okay, depending on your mowing and frequency. You guys see those brown spots where my dogs did their damage right around here? That's not fungus, that's not disease. That is simply the dog pee. Okay, it's highly concentrated, and it killed off the ryegrass, and it's killed off the Bermuda over the course of the winter, and it's slower to come back compared to the rest of the lawn. So when I'm filling those areas in, I'm mowing as frequent as I can so that the lateral spread will fill in all those brown areas and send a new grass root system down and tack into the soil and send a new grass blade up. That's how we recover from these areas. So whether you guys are growing a Bermuda like this, that's pure Bermuda, or that you had some sod that was planted in the wintertime and it's kind of dying back and you're waiting for that Bermuda to come up, you got some pet issues, you've got some rabbit issues. Remember, this is a great thing about Bermuda grass, is that it can fill back in and recover. It is an alpha dominant grass. It spreads laterally. But the key way to do that, other than a good watering program and a good solid fertility program, and whether you guys are out there pushing biochar and humics and macronutrients, the way to get that is to keep it as fundamental as possible, and that is simply mowing. If you haven't mowed this weekend, you need to turn this video off, get your butt in the lawn, and get out there and mow. That is the practice, okay? That's how you get a nice, thick, green Bermuda turf, okay? The next thing I wanted to talk to you guys today about was our soil results, okay? Our soil sample test results came back, and I'm gonna put a picture right here so you guys can see what I'm working with. Man, look at that. Do I really need to do anything else? The pH, 6.3, the optimum range. The nitrogen is excessive. I have got the baseline micronutrients all in the right category, okay? Or right at the optimal ranges, if you will. So then begs the question, wait, hold on. The calcium's high. Magnesium's a little high. And my salt, my Na is high. Wait, I gotta fix it. No, guys, there are some things like macronutrients like calcium, magnesium, your salt levels. There's nothing you can do, or there's nothing you should do, there's nothing you would want to do if all other nutrients are optimum and your pH is optimal. In my case, if you look at this chart here, I'm not doing a freaking thing. The recommendation is to add some fertilizer, and that's fine. Obviously, my pH is good, and my phosphorus is high. It's always been high, and that's because we have sandy soil systems here in West Texas. We're in sand. Sand typically has a higher phosphorus content. But when you look at a test result like this, some things, what I want you guys to do is to really just focus on the fundamentals, okay? If your pH is high, if you're too alkaline, you do need to adjust that. If your pH is low and you're too acidic, you do need to adjust that. If you know you're low in nitrogen, we all know that in lawn care, nitrogen drives the bus, so we may want to add some nitrogen. But when you get a soil test result like I have here, and all of my micro and macronutrients are sufficient, it begs the question, Chris, what's going to be your next application? And I'm going to tell you guys right now, I am not adding anything to the lawn. 2 years in the works, and I finally got the pH down, okay? If you haven't seen my videos on how to lower your pH, I'll put a card here, or I'll teach you, I'll post it later, or I don't know how I'll do it. I'll refer you to that video. Anyways, I'm not doing anything except adding organic material to my lawn. So yes, I'm gonna level it with some USGA golf course sand, but over the next few weeks and probably going into the summer, my intent is to only feed the soil with organic material. So how do I do that? Well, I could do a couple things. I could bring in some compost, some screen compost instead of sand, and level it with an organic compost that would be a good way to add organic material. I already know my CEC levels are good, but really there's no need for me to add any phosphorus, potassium, nitrogen, iron. I don't need to do any of that, because when my test results came back, as you guys already saw, all of my macronutrients are sufficient. I don't need to add anything else, so why spend the money? So you guys are watching my lawn care channel, and I'm teaching you guys how to, inevitably have the greenest lawn on the block. Well, the first step is really, you got to have a soil test. You don't have to, but you can, you should, you'd want to if you want to save some money. I'll give you another good example. In this Facebook group, there's a gentleman that pulled back a soil test from the Georgia University of Georgia, right? And unfortunately, his test lacks a few of the micro and macronutrient results. And in the description below, it specifically told this guy, this I guess a customer of the University of Georgia who sent them a soil test, literally told them to put down 15 pounds of a 10-10-10 per 1,000 square feet to bring up his nitrogen. On the test result, it had no implication whatsoever of the status of his nitrogen. Okay, so does he do it? Does he not do it? Begs the ultimate question, guys. And so here's the point. When you guys are doing lawn care, I just want you guys to get out there. It's the end, and we're coming up on the last 2 weeks of March. Keep it simple. We've got weather patterns all over the place. Some of you guys are applying fertilizer, some of you are not. But I can tell you the majority of what you guys are doing and what we're doing and what I'm doing is we're simply getting into the lawn and mowing it at the proper height, okay? And in my case, based on my test results for my soil sample, we sent in and got tested. All I have to do right now is add organic material, okay? I don't need to be concerned about the calcium through the roof or the magnesium or my salt content. You stick to the basic lawn care principles in the springtime, and that is simply mowing, aeration. If you got enough, if your soil temperature is right, you got a good green up, you get out there and mow. If you know based on your soil temperature you're lacking fertility, go ahead and add that starter fertilizer, get some NPK down. But how do you know to do that? I beg the question. You need to answer that question on your own, guys. So get that soil test done, or if you just want to really keep it simple, stick to the mowing. The mowing will take care of the rest, because when you leave those grass clippings in the lawn, in the soil, and that stuff starts to decompose, guess what's happening? It's rejuvenating the soil. This is fertility cycling over and over and over. And that's how you get to an optimal point in your soil when you start feeding it organic fertilizer and you start feeding that mycorrhiza fungi inside the lawn or inside the garden. That's when you know things are alive, okay? So in the efforts of actually adjusting your pH levels, you can actually free up readily available nutrients inside of your soil, okay? And that's been my goal the past 2 years, because I have always been really alkaline. So the goal of the past 2 years was bringing down my pH through the practice of applying ammonium sulfate, which is a fertilizer at 2100, and elemental sulfur. And in doing so, I have now reduced the pH level to the optimum range so that I have the other macronutrients readily available to be uptaken by the plants. If you focus on your pH and you are already abundant in other nutrients, when you bring or adjust that pH level to the optimal range, the plant will uptake the readily available nutrients. That's what you guys really want. If you focus on that one thing, your lawn will be changed forever. When we're doing lawn care and we're doing all these applications of fertilizer and we're implementing iron, and if you've got alkaline soil and you're reducing the alkalinity by adding ammonium sulfate, which is a type of fertilizer, or you're going to the extent and adding elemental sulfur, or you're liming your lawn, the reason why you guys are doing that is because you probably know the results of your pH, your soil test, and your pH is telling you to do so, okay? Or you know that you just have clay soil and you know that you need to lime it because everybody and their mother says to do it. Or if you got sandy soil and you know that you have alkaline soil and Chris has told you got to add elemental sulfur to bring down the pH. Listen, guys, when you guys are doing this sort of thing, those are some of the aspects of lawn care that we take into consideration, because if you have, and this is a really key element of lawn care and gardening, and you guys know I do gardening, if you've got a high alkaline soil or you guys are acidic on your pH, if you adjust that one thing, if you focus on that one thing next to mowing and maybe add in some fertilizer and you get your pH right, after a year or 2 years, because we know it takes time, you get a soil test like I've received and that I'm describing and showing you today, where you can save yourself money later down the road to the point where you don't have to add elemental sulfur or you don't have to add fertilizer. You've got so much organic content inside of your soil system or inside of your garden that all you have to do is water, mow, and maybe throw down some mycorrhiza fungi, or just let the plant do its job and do itself and feed itself, because your soil is so high in organic matter that the nutrients are all readily available, and the plant, when it starts to green up, is going to feed on what is existing in the soil system. That's what my soil test has described today. I hope you guys take that with a grain of salt, or take it to heart, and realize that if you just adjust one thing, you don't have to spend money in doing other things down the road. Okay, you're gonna save yourself a good. This is how farmers have been doing it for the longest time. And if you ask any farmer on the block how they try to save money, and it really comes down to introducing organic material in the soil system so that they can decrease the expense of fertilizing later or adding herbicides and whatnot to the foods that we eat. Think about that. The last thing I wanted to mention was, a lot of us have the question of, when do I start lawn care? When do I really start mowing? When is it time to fertilize? As you guys already saw, I gave you a little quick glimpse of some of my trees, our fruit trees that are starting to blossom. Our tulips have already come out of dormancy. They've overwintered. Our fruit trees, they're going back to they're initiating some new leaf growth. We got a plum tree that's out there that's got its first flower. That is when you know it's time to fertilize. When you have high enough soil temperatures, your trees are coming out of dormancy, okay, your deciduous trees, your fruit trees, they're starting to produce a new flower. You've got a green haze along the grass. Your soil temperatures are around that 65, 70 degree soil temperature range. Organic material in the soil is waking up. It's springtime, people. It's time to get out there, start mowing. And if you got the appropriate soil temperatures, one last time, get out there, throw some down if you need it, based on some statistical data from a soil test. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment below, and as always, if you got a question, I'll get back to you.